The Massachusetts airman accused of leaking highly classified military documents online back in federal court in the coming hours to determine whether he will stay in custody. The detention hearing for Jack Teixeira, seen there on your screen, had been postponed for about 2 weeks at his attorney's request. Molly Line with Fox News is outside the federal courthouse in Worcester, Massachusetts, and joins us live with more on that and new developments in the case. Molly, thank you so much for joining us.
Josh, thanks for having me. The big news in this case is this really no punches pulled motion that's been filed by the federal government, by prosecutors who are going to make the argument today at this detention hearing at the federal courthouse in Worcester that Jack Teixeira should remain behind bars before trial in this case. They argue that he is not only a flight risk, but that he is a danger to national security and also the greater community at large. Let me give you a little bit of insight into what is in this very long, about 50-page motion that includes really a considerable amount of exhibits that the prosecutors are using to back up the case that they're planning to make today. Prosecutors say the Massachusetts Air National Guardsman, quote, may still have access to a trove of classified information that would be of tremendous value to hostile nation states that could offer him safe harbor. Prosecutors say Teixeira took steps to thwart the government's ability to ascertain the scope of what he obtained and also the universe of unauthorized users with whom he shared. A smashed tablet, laptop, and Xbox gaming console were all found in a dumpster at his residence. And prosecutors also warn that Teixeira owned a virtual arsenal of weapons, listing a high-capacity AK-style weapon, a bazooka, handguns, rifles, and much more. And he had regular discussions, prosecutors say, about violence and murder on the same platform in which he discussed classified information. They note Teixeira was also suspended in high school after a classmate overheard him make comments about Molotov cocktails, guns at school, and racial threats. Now, when that courtroom activity gets underway, the defense, those on Teixeira's side, are going to argue that he actually should be released pending trial, and with hopes that he'll be able to stay at his father's home here in the state of Massachusetts. Josh?
And do we have any indication as to whether this detention hearing could actually be postponed again? We know the attorney did ask for a 2-week postponement the last time this was set to happen. Do we believe at this point this is going to happen today, or could it potentially be postponed again?
I haven't gotten any indication that this hearing is not going to happen. At this point in time, they've actually given out the media slots. We've been able to sign up to get access to the courtroom later on this afternoon. So we'll see what ultimately happens. The defense has also released a document, a motion arguing many of the reasons why they believe their client, Jack Teixeira, should be able to be out, essentially staying at his father's home before trial. One of the other things that's particularly interesting that's been revealed in some of these documents, particularly from prosecutors, that kind of give us a greater idea of what they're looking at, is that records show just how far back they believe Jack Teixeira began sharing information and accessing information. They say that in February of 2022, Teixeira began accessing hundreds of classified documents with no bearing on his role as really essentially an IT specialist there in the Air National Guard, searching terms related to mass shootings and also the Russia-Ukraine conflict. And that is some of the information prosecutors argue he was sharing in these online chat rooms. In one chat room, court documents show Teixeira brags of prior revelations, acknowledging things he has previously shared, offering a full report to one of his online pals, writing, quote, I've reported stuff like this almost daily as I get it to my friends. And that's one of the big challenges that U.S. agencies are grappling with in this case. They're still trying to get their hands around the full scope of what sort of documents were released and how far they traveled potentially around the globe and what people may be doing with that information. Josh?
All right, Molly Line there with Fox News. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us, and we'll stay in touch as we learn what happens in that courtroom. The hearing set for 1 p.m. Eastern Time.